Hello?
Hi Andrew, it's Amber. Are you out and about somewhere?
No, I'm just here in my bed. That's my fan.
Oh right, because I phoned your house phone, but it went straight onto the answer machine.
In the other room.
Right, it went straight on the answer machine.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to have a chat just now, or do you want me to phone you back?
We can have a chat now.
Okay, how's it going?
What do you mean?
How are things?
Not very well.
Are you not? Is that how come you're in your bed?
I'm just tired, a lot of tiredness.
Right, have you been staying up late during the night?
I was at the Lidl's and I started getting dizzy. I don't think it was dizziness. I think somebody sprayed me with something. That was at Lidl's. They were always bothering me there. There and that woman at the bus stop and her pals. Have you seen them yet?
No.
I've uploaded them to my Dropbox.
I don't look at them.
Why not? But do you know what she looks like?
No.
She's got big teeth.
Right.
That stick out.
Okay.
But like the woman that was in York Place during the 1990s, and she actually had a kind of flat near Lidl's in Gorgie Dalry.
Okay.
But my brother Robert mentioned her, but I recognise the guy that dresses like Galloway. He's like skinny, you know, like that. I don't know if it was a man or a woman when we went to shelter. I meant you were looking at the dress. You were looking at the dress and the rack, and I said, "Do you smell the back of it?"
Right.
And that woman that was there, and then there was the tall, thin woman. Then there was the woman or someone that walked ahead of us.
Okay.
Because there was someone like that of that build in Aberdeen. You know, the skinnies. Skinny people. My sister had a problem with those people, saying, why should we always do what he says or what she says? You can never tell with these lot.
Okay. So listen, I wanted to give you a bit of an update because I know that you got your PIP letter on Monday. Mark Upward wrote to me and John Armstrong about it because they're going to reduce your money, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like it.
So me and John have been working on an appeal this week. I'll need to try and see you next week because I have to get your permission and your signature.
That'd be fine.
Right. Well, I'm at a meeting next week at Norton Park, so I would maybe just come around to the house with the paperwork and you could just sign it. I don't need to come in if you don't want me to. That's
alright. I don't mind if you come in.
Alright, well, you would just need to sign the paperwork to say that you were happy with us putting it in. It's basically what we're saying is that, well, remember how when I went to the PIP assessment, I took a lot of notes? So I've written up my notes that I took because I feel like they've not listened to everything that you said.
She wouldn't because I know the woman. I'm trying to work out where it was. I mean, I think it'll be Jackie's pal. She's there somewhere in my past somewhere. I know her. I've seen her before. It's the same with the woman I had before. She was the same. Same with the black guy. I know a lot of see my brother Ian, my father and my brother Robert, they know a lot of these people for the DWP and PIP and ATOS, you see. And the way she You see, you've got to watch out for, I mean, it's not like, I'm not being racist when I say this, but you have to be very careful of the Romany, because apparently there's something, my sister says, she told me you have to be careful with them because they're involved.
Well,
But that's
what we're doing is I've written up my notes because I've said that I think they need to make sure that they take everything that you said into consideration. And John Armstrong is writing a letter to say that it's just to talk a little bit more about his experience of working with you as a mental health officer. So and to ask them to reconsider the decision. So we've been working on that this week, so we'll see how we get on with it. We've got a month to appeal, but we might as well get it done quickly and try and get them to have another look at the decision. So we'll see how we get on with that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've been doing is I've been working on your support plan, and I don't have that finished yet, so I'm still working away on it. I probably more realistically, because I've spent time this week on the PIP appeal, I'll probably be looking more like Monday to get the support plan finished. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll email it through to you. Other things that I've done this week is I spoke to Jen Bragg about, remember how you said you were keen on going to the gym? So
yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so I said that there was a guy that we knew who's like a personal trainer. So I spoke to Jen Bragg about him, and she's given me his number. She says that he already works with a couple of Future Pathways clients, and he's really good. I can't remember his name. It might be Mark. I can't remember his name, but he's in his early 30s. And he's a personal trainer, but he's also got like good experience of working with people. So she's given me his number. So if you're all right with it, I'll give him a phone and see if we can get something set up with him.
Yeah.
All right about that?
Yeah, fine.
Cool. He will probably want to meet me as well. So if the three of us met up first.
Yeah.
And he'll want to know more about because it's me that, as you know, it's me that sort of sets up the contracts with the people, so you'll want to know what I'm looking for, and you'll want to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's fine. And the support worker?
The support worker, I'm still waiting to hear back from the Penumbra manager. She has tried to phone me this week, but I was in a meeting for the whole day. So I wasn't able to answer the phone, so she is trying to get in touch with me, but we've just not been able to be free at the same time to talk. And I've got the stuff for the personal assistant organisation, so I need to talk to you about that. I might wait until we next meet up.
Okay. And is that the advocacy worker, is that what you call a personal assistant?
No, the advocacy worker, that was the one where I was going to get in touch with Vincent. I'm going to get in touch with him first and see what he says, see what he can offer. And then if he's able to help us, that's great. If he's not able to help us, then I'll see what else we can do.
Right, okay.
Okay.
But I mean, there's an organisation that, like that one you're talking about, the organisation for personal assistants.
Yeah.
There's also one for advocacy workers.
Oh, is it right?
Yeah.
Do you know what they're called? Do you know what the organisation's called?
I sent an email to someone about it.
See if I can find that.
It's a main site for where advocacy workers look for work as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right, that sounds good. I'll look into that as well then.
Well, What I'm trying to tell you is I've already sent the email. It probably went to Gary Smith.
Okay.
So I can try and check up later.
Alright. Okay, no bother. Another thing is that we've not put in a date for our next meeting yet. Now I'll come round. I'm at Norton Park next week at a meeting. I won't be able to see. I won't be able to spend time with you, but I'll come round and get your signature.
Okay.
The following week, so not next week, but the week after, there's time booked for you to meet me and Ian. That's on the Monday.
Well, I mean, I'm not interested in Ian Connor. I'm not interested.
I wondered if we'll keep that time anyway, because I'm going to be at Norton Park all day, and then I've booked a time for you for 2:30 to meet up with me and Ian.
Well,
if you don't want to see him at all, you don't
no, not at all. I tell you what, why don't we just meet in that big room? Because I don't like the friendly, cosy setting. Why don't we just have the office type environment rather than the rather than the friendly, cosy setting, or the little home back room? I want the office setting whenever I meet anybody. Actually.
All right. Would you meet Ian in there?
That'd be fine.
Okay. Well, I'll need to check if I can get that room booked, but I'll do that. I'll see if I can get it, and we can meet him in there instead. That's no bother.
Okay, but what are we going to be discussing?
Me and you?
Aye.
Well, I will get your support plan sent to you by Monday now. I know I said I would do it by the end of today, but I've spent extra time on the PIP appeal, so I'll get your support plan sent to you by Monday, and then we can talk about it by email during the week. And then when we meet up the following Monday, we can see if there's any other final things that we still need to put into the support plan, and I can be updating you on where I'm at with everything else that I've been doing with advocacy and support work. How does that sound?
It's alright.
Okay. Are you alright, Andrew? Your voice sounds a little bit strained.
Yeah, I got a lot of pain.
Right.
But takes me a while.
Okay.
To get out of that pain in my spine, my back of my neck and that. That's what I mean. Every time I meet in vicinity of these people, something weird happens, you know.
Right. Okay. Well, what if I'm gonna go away and do some more work on that support plan.
I'm not sure if they spray me. There was a woman in the Royal Edinburgh who's a biologist, a biochemist, and she said that you need a skin barrier, because sometimes they spray you. It's called reverse osmosis. You know when you get a skin patch for nicotine withdrawal? That's like reverse osmosis. Osmosis is what she said, or something, right?
Okay.
So you draw in the chemical through the pores or whatever your skin, and that's what they do. It's like not a skin patch, but it's like they spray you. But you know, as you breathe it in, it goes in through the mucuses and that. But I end up with a very weak and sickly feeling coming over me.
Right.
I get it a lot with these people. But see that guy, I don't know if it's a good video, but there's a guy that dresses like Galloway. He's kind of thin. He has a broad brimmed hat. And he wears like a black coat.
Okay.
And he was at the bus stop when I got back from Aberdeen. It was the one opposite the Waverley. Now they've got like a building, they've got like something there in that area that they go to quite a lot. And there was a guy that looked like someone called Craig. I don't know if it's Craig Buchanan, but they said, I think his name's Craig, could be somebody else. But like, he actually bothered me in Aberdeen at Ibis, and he's got like a bad arm. When he was in Oakbank, he had a broken arm, and he was always going to the doctors to get the elbow set and reset. And he used to play table tennis a lot, even with his bad arm. And he was, even when it was in a cast, and you had to go to this guy that worked there. He said, look, you have to stop doing that. We're going to have to ban you from playing and send you somewhere, you know, where you can't do that if you keep messing that up, because I think you're doing it on purpose. You see, that's what I mean. A lot of people were into, if they had something wrong with them, they would make it worse.
Right.
And especially if it happened in the home, if you see what I mean. And it's like they got like extra compensation. Like, see that I don't know if he was adult or child at the time, but there was someone similar to him and a woman or a girl who they had very hairy legs and arms, some of them, right? They were in the Hardgate as well. There was two of them, and they had casts on their arms. And one time I was told that one of the staff, I think it was there or another, said, I don't think there's anything wrong with your arm. I don't know if they said now or ever, if you see what I mean. And we think you're just having us on. You see what I mean? So anyway, I used to get attacked a lot by kids like that. It seemed like, and they have the appearances of being relatives of someone on, not Atlantic. It used to be called Atlantic. It's Crossfolds Crescent now.
In Aberdeen.
Peterhead.
Peterhead, right.
That's where this guy that had the Hillman Imp lived. And he tried to roll, this Hillman Imp came rolling down the kind of hill. It's just a slight hill, a slight incline, or what they call it. And my father stopped the car and drove it back to where he was supposed to. And I had my father saying to this guy, look, you're not allowed to be here, you're not supposed to be here. And he says, I'm living with my mother because she's ill. So that's Crossfolds Terrace in Peterhead, and that was when I was very young. I think I had probably been at Cobble Hall at the time.
Right.
My father lived at Catter Crescent, which was not far from there, and we just cut through the back, across the grass at the back, and onto Atlantic Avenue, and walked along. And I'm not sure where we were going that day, but it takes us to the old railway. But where Crossfolds Terrace is, it's just it's like a U. If you like, it's similar to like a U shape, or like a smiley face, but like a smile, sort of. If you draw a line like a smile, it's something like that. And Crossfolds Terrace is, the entrance to Crossfolds Terrace is on Catter Drive. And if you were coming from the town, you drive along Catter Drive, and you turn down Crossfolds Terrace, and you can drive all the way around. It used to be called Atlantic Avenue, it's called Ocean Drive or something now. And you drive all the way around, like in a kind of sort of U shape, and then you come out the other end on Catter Drive again. And if you were to turn right and head back towards the Crossfolds Terrace entrance, about halfway there's Catter Crescent.
Right.
And Catter Crescent goes down, it's shaped a bit like a thermometer, If you look at the shape of a thermometer, there's a road that goes down and there's a round circle bit at the bottom where you can turn around and drive back out.
Okay.
And that's where that was Carrickcrescent. But there's like a bit of an issue with where my sister lived, because my memory, I'm not sure if I'm getting a bit confused, but my memory is that according to the map on Google anyway, maybe it's Google it's got it wrong, but where my sister lived isn't quite where it shows on Google Maps.
Right.
Okay, but I think there was 2 properties. I think it was a case of they had 2 properties.
Sometimes Google Map is like that. It's not exact.
But see, when I was in my sister, when I got gassed, there was a woman, I mean, she's one of the stewards, and they were talking about, I see if we can get him involved in that business, because there was supposed to be a boy further along who was sexually abused. There was a boy in a long...
That's when you were young?
Yeah, when I was a kid. There was a boy that was sexually abused. They were both saying, like, you know, we can get you to meet some interesting people, and they were wanting me to work for them in that capacity, like, but their name was Stuart's, and a while back, when I was sectioned, I was arrested by the police at the community centre south side. There was a security guard, concierge at the south side community centre, and he looked almost identical to, it took me a while to recognise him because of the drug, the medication, but he looked almost identical to Doe Stewart. And the police officer as well, one of the police officers at Dalkin had them arrest me, but Dalkin himself is a serious issue, and he's someone I want investigated, and I actually looking to get Dalkin put away, along with that security guard and the police officers he used to arrest me. And that there is a serious problem with the police here in Edinburgh and in Aberdeen and other places, okay? There's complicity all the way through with these people, these police officers, and I'm talking, goes all the way back, and prison warden, and this goes all the way back to Yorkshire. Okay? And you see, there's a serious problem with the police, and it hasn't gone away. Do you understand? It has not gone away.
When you say all the way back to Yorkshire, what happened in Yorkshire?
Well, I remember being in the house. I don't think it was my brother Robert, but it was a skinny bloke. Right, a skinny guy. Black. He reminds me of the man who was in Autonomous Centre Edinburgh. You know, is it Montgomery Place or Crescent? It's just off Brunswick Road, near where I live, and it's where Black Lives Matter have some kind of office or meeting. It's just to the side of that school. There's a school there, which is a kind of bit of a surprise that there were people like that allowed to set up an office. But the thing is, one of the people that was in there, well, 2 now that I recall, and some of them work at Wonderland Amusements. One of them does. I think he might have been there when I was there. And he also works at airport security. I've seen him there. Right? Now, the tall guy who likes cricket, incidentally. So if you want to find out more about him, you should go to Scottish cricket clubs. And I am absolutely sure that he was in Inverurie Academy when the PE teacher was letting us play cricket, and there was a bit of a chat about he won't know anything. He won't know anything. He won't remember a thing. They say these things do that eventually. It just takes time, and they say he doesn't even know you just now. And he says, I think he does. Right?
Yeah.
Now that guy again turned up at Oak Bank. Right? And he's got the same stature as the guy that was in, I'm not sure if it was Hull, but they're saying it was Hull. But there were at least maybe 4 or 5 officers outside the window, the bedroom window, down by the back. Could be the back door, could be the front door. It was a big window anyway, a small room but a big window with bunk beds and maybe a single bed. It was a strange setting, right? Because normally the houses I was in that were upper floor didn't have any furniture when I was a kid.
Right.
Now, there were officers with those, you know, those beat officers in England, they don't have flat caps, they've got those cone hats, you know, helmets, and they're cone shaped, they're not rounded like a motorbike helmet, they're pointed.
Yeah.
And there was about 4 or 5 of them at the back door. And what happened was they didn't like me much. I think someone might have been, says, our father doesn't want something or other. So they said, that's the police here, they wonder what they're here for, and they were wondering if they were good ones or bad ones. But that tall guy, he also worked for Blacks or Blake's Metal here in Edinburgh. Now that guy is very worried about, I mean, that's what I'm telling you, there's kind of like skinny people that are an issue. I don't know what I mean, it's nothing to do with them actually being skinny, it's just that they seem to be skinny. Right? Now that guy, it's my sister that's made the point of the lanky streaks of passion, that's what she calls them. But I've seen a woman like that's an issue, and that she's been helping pedophiles. One pedophile who exposed himself to me wanted me to grab hold of his dick in the toilet, and there was another guy there, and see, some of these people look like the religious teacher at Peterhead Academy. And there's another guy who used to do religious songs and play the guitar. He would visit Brimond Home.
Right.
And they would have one of those religious sing-alongs, right? And there's someone in Gorgydale, right, when I Fountain Bridge, I think it's Dundee Street, who dresses a bit like Noel Morris, and he has a similar hairstyle and facial appearance. Okay? But anyway, the main person, an organisation I could tell you about is Autonomous Centre Edinburgh a while back. And there's also people in that organisation that actually worked for the hospital and the religious orders of churches in this area. But other areas, I also filmed some more in Aberdeen, in McDonald's again. They seem to use McDonald's as a meeting place. And there was also like a rape in that stair down the side. But I'm telling you, the chances are that these people are being set up. You remember the story about the police officer that ended up killing a prostitute, a Romany prostitute?
Right, I don't know that story, no.
Well, they had him on drugs and everything, and wearing women's knickers and stockings and that, and they were taking pictures of him. They say that he used to take pictures of himself. Do you know the pictures he took of himself? They were almost like professional, and that someone else was taking them. But the other thing is, you know, the ones they put in the newspaper. But the other thing is, there's an issue with a photographer in Inverurie, and I think there's a photographer called Barclays, and that name Barclay is a problem because the Barclays were in Brimond Home, and I've met that guy Barclay since, and he goes around with the crowd. I mean, he's like, looks like the people, he mixes with the people that were in Oak Bank, Brimond Home, and he's been around. There's a Duncan, a guy that called himself Duncan. He looks like he works as security in the sheriff court. And when I come back, I think it was after I come back from South America, but I ended up they held me in remand over that guy that attacked me in St Mary Street. My brother sold me to him, right? And he, I forgot. Yeah, he was called Duncan. They said his name was Duncan. But I've seen people like him delivering stuff to my door, right? I've seen a lot of people working with delivery companies also, and security in Lidl's, Lloyd's Pharmacy, you know, the Lloyd's pharmacy on the street, including ethnics who are an issue, like blacks, right? So there's a bit of I think it's a bit political. It's more they're political, but some of the people I've seen working in security have army service. And that guy Duncan was brought into we had a Sherpa van in Brimond, and he was allowed in the van, and he was talking about, I don't want this one making it. And it was something to do with his brother, what his brother, he could get my family into a lot of trouble. They work at the Edinburgh Sheriff Court, right? There's more than one person at the Edinburgh Sheriff Court that needs to be kicked out. There's a lot of them. There's lots of these people from the homes are 100% there. They do not have a case. If they have a case, right, and the inquiry upholds the complaint, that means the inquiry is complicit with these abusers and is showing favour with people who actually work for them when they were children. And I feel most of the time a lot of these people were actually adults. At the very least they were adult teenagers. They were over the age of 16, and they should not have been in these homes. When you've committed a crime, when you're in Oak Bank, say you're in Oak Bank and you're over 16, you're supposed to go to a young offenders institution, which would be the only one I know of. Well, there's Glenorchy and there's Frighton. See, when I turned 16 and I was attacked by the police, right, and another guy that works for the High Constables here in Edinburgh now, right, they didn't send me to a children's home, but they send them to children's homes when they're over 16. I got sent to Craiginsh's prison when I was about 16.
Did you? I didn't know about that.
Well, anyway, I was sent to Craiginsh's when I was 16. Stayed there for 7 days. I got 21 days because I refused to pay the fine because I said I was attacked by this fella and he's got a problem with my family. Right? And he was involved with my sister Jacqueline. He's a police officer. Right? He came to Jacqueline's flat when she lived in St Peter Street. It's like a maisonette. And he was saying, this one's still a problem for me. I'm still getting pressured, is what he's saying. But anyway, I went to Craiginsh's because he picked on me in the street, and that guy that works for the High Constables, I've seen him here in Edinburgh, I filmed him. I met some of them in the early 90s as well. Okay, see when I'm here and I ain't moving, they eventually attack me or get people to attack. See, now that I haven't moved this time, I'm filming them in other places. Like I filmed some up in Aberdeen, and I think it's the people their family that are related to John Simons from the children's homes, and he's violent, and I think John Simons was also a sex offender.
Was he an adult in the
Staff at Cobble Hall. That's the one that assaulted Keith.
Right.
And he assaulted me as well, and he come across to me, and he had he gave made sexual references to me.
Right. Okay.
Right, but anyway, when I met him, I bumped into him at night, and I think he did have like an erection, and he rubbed it against me as well. But there was a teacher that did that as well. That was in the corridor. I just came across him by accident. I was at the toilet. I managed to go to the toilet myself, despite being drunk. And he was in the room with a kid called, I can't remember his name, James Quirk or something. But anyway, that guy James Quirk, he's definitely part of a paedophile network. See, a lot of these kids don't have a case because they're delinquent. I mean, you have to try and you got to really assert this. It's what they're saying. When does a child develop a conscience? And when can they be held responsible for their actions? And people, some of them are quite obscene and absurd in that they would suggest a 3-year-old, can make a conscious decision, which is total nonsense. But anyway, I'm talking about kids older than that. Right, approach. It depends on how their mind works, but essentially you're talking about over 12 years old. Right, and in this sense, the reason they're working on that is that they can say, well, a lot of these cases involve kids who developed the conscience, they know right from wrong, and have knowingly engaged in these practices. For some it's not true, especially where drugs are involved. Like I was medicated, right? But essentially I was badly down. I was in a very diminished state when I was in care, mentally, because of the drugs and the beatings and the sexual abuse. But I think that there's actually people in the homes who are actually over 16 had committed crimes. Because see, when I went to school, I wasn't seeing the people I was in the homes with. Like, there were people missing.
Okay.
And that included another home, right? Another school called St Andrews in Inverurie. And even one of the teachers said there's some people here that we think are just a bit too big for this school. In other words, when they say they're too big, it means they're too old. You see what I mean? And I was having that problem, like seeing people only once and never ever seeing them again, yet they were saying they were at the same school as me. I said, well, you need to let me see you where you are, because I've never actually seen you in that school.
I guess if there's an age difference, though, it's hard to, if somebody's 2 or 3 years older or younger than you, it's hard to remember them from school.
Hang on a second. I would have seen them. I'm telling you, I would have seen them. And there's even people and other kids in the school, they don't belong here. People have come in. People have stopped this Helen Crawford and the others saying, we've told you before, you don't belong here, you shouldn't be here. No, we're not into this funny business or whatever. That's basically what she meant. Another male staff have also approached this Helen Crawford and Dorothy Cole. Don't come back. That's basically what they were told. We don't want you here. And that was the same situation in Aberdeen. And they were in the school in Ferry Hill, but there's something, it depends on the mentality of the staff and who runs it, you see. They let them in and they didn't let them in, but these women that turned up, or older girls that turned up, they had a very malignant, sort of like a malignant way about them, And
they were there as pupils, but you think they were older?
Well, Port Elphinstone, there was someone that was referred to as Sandra Mitchell, could be Sandra Anderson, who was like felt me up in the toilet.
Okay, and she was a pupil?
She. And a name I was told was Sandra Mitchell. But you could be right about he or she.
No, I'm just was she a pupil or staff?
Ex-pupil, but she was way too old for being there.
Was she meant to be a helper?
Something like that. But what were they doing, feeling me up? And the other thing is that I think we could use this one. And the other one says no, he's no good. He's a bit dangerous with it. They said, and that he doesn't keep secrets.
Okay.
So that was Sandra Mitchell and her pal. At one point there were two others. There was Sandra Mitchell and two others. And I remember the occasion because Margaret Third accused me of doing things to her, but what in actual fact she was doing is she was becoming pervy with a kid, well, if he was a kid, Harry Forbes, right? And it was to do with the genitalia, right? And she invited me to touch her backside, right? So I just says I'm not touching it with my fingers because I had a problem with smelly cunts. That area that really stinks when they made me perform oral sex on them.
Okay.
So I just bumped my groin up against her, and Harry.
You both children at that time?
Both children. Margaret Third's older than me, but she was encouraging Harry to become sexually aroused, and then she was going to get the other kids wanted her to do it to me as well. And I think I filmed one of them, especially a ginger-headed one in Aberdeen. But I think they're all part of the same families, and I think they're also part of this autistic society thing in Scotland. Not necessarily the same organisation, but it's to do with autism.
Okay.
But anyway, I was made to stand with my pants down at my ankles in the kitchen for quite a long time, and Harry Forbes too. But the only reason Harry Forbes ended up like that is because they were laughing at me, and Harry Forbes was having a good laugh. And I said, Auntie Daisy, Harry Forbes was doing it too. But actually Margaret Third was doing it with him before I turned up. So then he had to stand there. And with his pants down in the corner, but I only got her to do that because he was laughing at me and having a go at me, standing like that. But Margaret Third, they said, was one of the girls that would always do that for the money. In other words, I think Harry Forbes had come. I think it was Keith that mentioned that Harry's come into a bit of money. Right, and she wants some of what Keith said. The things I've heard about Margaret, she'll want it all, and she'll do it all for it basically. And Daisy Park said the same. Margaret Third was anything to do with money. Margaret will do it. That was Margaret Third, and Margaret Rose was the same. She had a smelly vagina as well. She actually wanted me to do anal with her.
Okay. So see when you're in Aberdeen, are you seeing these people again?
I'm seeing some of them. That's what I'm telling you. These people are cropping up, not just Aberdeen, but here.
But are you seeing those actual people, or is it?
I'm seeing people who bear a strong resemblance to them. But see the guy at Autonomous Centre Edinburgh. 100. I've got two people in that centre that I can say beyond all doubt, they are people I've had problems with in Peterhead and Oakbank, Yorkshire, and Inverurie Academy.
Okay, so
but there's more. That's just two. But there are others, like the guy that works for the High Constable. He begs on the streets. He's got the skin problem. He's got a skin problem. You know when Armstrong mentioned, do you have a padlock on your fridge? when in 1999 or 98, maybe a bit earlier than that, maybe early 98, right? I was in a bed and breakfast in Perth, just off the park, and there was a guy in there. We all had padlocks on our fridges in the kitchen because people were stealing each other's food. And there was a guy there who was a problem, and I think he's here as well. But see these people that look like John Simons?
Right.
They were one of them was in Leith House in the early 90s, and he got attacked. Somebody ripped or cut the ponytail off him. But he was an evil cunt. He's got to be one of those evil cunts from the Homes, or associated with the Homes. And he got the pony. They got some kind of obsession with having a ponytail. But Paul Morrell was like that. Okay, and when I was in Costas, there was a bunch of people giving me a hint as to who they're with, and you better not mess, sort of thing. Like they all used the same name, Simon. You know, for their cup. You know, Starbucks says, "What name do you want on your cup?"
Yeah. Were they trying to be funny?
John Simons. In other words, Simon, Simon, Simon. That's 3 Simons, right? So that's not Simon. We're going to say, oh, 3 Simons. So John Simons is spelt with an S at the end. There's people here that know all about that. See that Lush shop?
Yeah.
That's another shop you need to be careful of.
Why?
And Lush in Aberdeen too. There's actually a woman that's left, and I'm thinking in the way that skinny woman is associated with Lush, right? Or skinny person. The skinny men and women are associated with Lush. And I'll tell you another thing. There's a guy called Aubrey. He's one of those longevity freaks. I saw him on a documentary. Look familiar? If it is a man. Right, because I had this story from another skinny bloke called Spalding. Somebody took a knife to his throat because he was doing child pornography.
Right. Okay.
He's the one that was attacked, and he said they tried to rob me. He says, well, they robbed them. They probably robbed. What I says to Spalding was, okay, so this guy stuck a knife to your throat to rob you. That doesn't happen all the time. And he says, well, yeah, you're right. And I says, well, okay, George, tell me what you did to attract that kind of attention. Because normally when people attack you so boldly like that to rob you, it's because you've done something and you're not playing ball with them. You see what I mean? Like a guy turns up in his cab that we know you did this, we want a piece of the action you've got. And he says no, so he ended up getting the knife to his throat, and he has got a scar there. But that's what he said. So then he didn't like the way I saw things, and that's when this guy Foster started turning up. The guy that called himself Foster. And I think he's one of these people here. And I keep confusing him with the guy called Buchanan. But that guy's beard's familiar. The nose is familiar. It's just a style of beard. I don't know if he's tall or short, but it wouldn't make any difference because I've met tall and short people in my time through the Homes. And so it wouldn't make any difference. I've seen that type of beard before. But anyway, that's when Foster came up, and then Pavlina here in Edinburgh, this is a lot later, turned up with a guy called Sherry, who wears a skirt and boots.
Okay.
And he works at, or she, I don't, so you got to watch, because sometimes they dress up as women as part of to evade recognition or being associated with, say, molesting girls. Yeah, well, look, I dress up like a woman because, you know, I feel I'm a woman. I'm not going to do that. You know, in other words, they're for the same sex. But but he's Sherry at Real Foods. And see people in your office, maybe not future past, but you've got people in your office that resemble a police officer who works at Real Foods, who was very hostile towards me because that guy Sherry probably gave me bad rep. But Sherry used to try and do me favours, but what I'm saying is that Sherry needs to be looked in, one for computer hacking and an association with historical child sexual assault, and he might be old enough to go back as far as the chain brig in Peterhead, and the black kid or the black family that finally showed its face when they were told I turned 16. It might not have been quite 16 because I remember Keith being in the house, so chances I was still a kid. But my father says, don't go near them, don't go near him. He's no good, he's not what you think it is. There's a guy who was saying, I want to be your friend. And he was saying that my father's been doing things to me. And he was hoping to get me to be with his father. In other words, my father would sexually abuse me rather than him. I want you to get my father off me. But that's a familiar saying, like my cousin Jane said the same thing with a girl who was about 14 or 15, but a little bit podgy little girl. But she was, in a way, she was kind of cute, but she was 14 and I think I was just not long after 16. And I was living in Ann Milne's bed and breakfast. And I wouldn't go near her. Because, you know, I've got this thing, I've got a lot of experience in the homes, and I thought it was like one of those underage sex traps, right? And it was my cousin that was trying to arrange it, right? Cousin Jane, who's since died of cancer.
Okay.
But anyway, I can't remember much more than that. But her name, they said, I think her name was Fiona or something. But she used to walk about the town wearing, you know, like an Andy Pandy suit.
No, I don't really know.
Well, if you look up Andy Pandy, right, it's like one of those puppet series for kids. And if you look at the clothes Andy Pandy has on, that's what she was wearing.
Okay.
And I've seen her since, and guess what? She wears a shiny blue dress.
Right, okay. I don't like that. I don't like that blue shiny material.
Well, that's what, there's a woman that works in Edinburgh Sheriff Court wears a shiny blue dress like that. You know, like it's like the little black dress number, but it's a shiny blue one. Well, the woman that sexually abused me in St Martha's had one of those dresses.
A shiny blue one?
The shiny short one. It was like a party dress that's like shiny blue. And there was a woman here in Edinburgh in the early 90s from the Banana Flats. And she could easily have been that same girl or woman in Peterhead. And she wore a shiny blue dress sometime later, and there was a police officer who says, what do you think about her now? I bet you'd like to do, but I know what you would want to do with her. And that was Lothian Road. You know that Bottoms Up lap dancing bar on Lothian Road?
No, I don't know that.
Well, ask around. It's called Bottoms Up. You know where that Byron's Burger Bar and all that is?
Yeah.
That's where they used to be. They used to be under the Ambassador sauna.
Right.
But I'm not sure they've shut down because you still can't see in upstairs.
Right.
But that's where she was.
Okay, right.
So all these people have come together here, right? But the guy from ACE, tall guy, I called him the Gonk, because he's a bit like the kid called Raymond Sim. He was in Peterhead, but he might be called Reed. He, the short one and a tall one. They had hair like the gonk. You know the shape of the gonk? It's just like a toy they put in cars, like a fluffy toy they put in a car.
Yeah.
And he had like a hairstyle like that. Well, I've positively ID'd these people. There's no doubt it's the same people. But even McCubbin's social services, Bruce McCubbin had a guy in here, in my flat. That guy was invited in my flat long before that for me to try and work out a loan. He took a signature off me. I said, "You're not giving me a loan, why should I sign the papers?" I said, "Oh, well, we might be able to do something." But then Bruce McCubbin turned up with him later, and I was recording just audio because I recognised him, Bruce McCubbin. So I put the recorder on and hid it in a drawer. And that recorder then went missing from my flat. And that's when I was out. It was an Open University that gave me the recorder.
Right.
And I didn't send it back. I even told them I can't find the recorder. But you know what they said? They said they've got it.
Okay, who said it?
OU, Open University in Milton Keynes.
They said they had the recorder?
They said they'd received it. I didn't even send it because I'd lost it. Well, I reckon it was taken by Bruce McCubbin from Leith Social Work. So they're all in it. That's what I mean, these skinny people. And there's skinny people called Harry the Cat and others in Leith House Hostel in the early 90s. And that guy, Aubrey, he fits with George Spalding. Right? I think when I was in George Spalding's flat, he says you get to live longer. There's a way like a fly can make it go from being male to female, and it lives longer. And he said, we'd like to do that with you. And that's what I'm talking about, these people.
Okay.
So anyway, I got to go now because I'm getting tired. I need to go to the toilet.
Alright. Well, listen, I'll email you on Monday, okay? And then we'll keep in touch next week by email.
Okay. I've got to go. Right, bye.
Alright, bye.